So if you're seated, your spine is straight, you can just tip your chin slightly, either cast your gaze downward or close your eyes. If you want to do a mudra with the hands, the thumb and index finger comes together if you're seated, and you just turn the back of the palms onto the knees, whilst maintaining the straight spine. So now we simply bring our awareness to the breath. We know that the breath is with us 24 hours a day. When we sleep, when we're awake, it's always there, but we never bring our attention to it. So for 3 minutes now, your meditation will be on your breath. So just bring your awareness now to your natural rhythm of breath. Your inhale through the nostrils and your exhale through the nostrils. So meditation may also give you a window into seeing how busy your mind is. And that's perfectly natural. Thoughts will come, sounds will come. But we just bring the focus back to our breath. The inhales and the exhales. Inhales and the exhales. You've completed your 3 minutes. Don't allow the eyes to open just yet. Just take a moment to see, perhaps you may feel a little bit calmer. Bring your hands in front of your heart if you're seated. Roll up onto a seated position if you're on your back. Bring your hands into Pro Mudra. Namaste. So guys, that was just 3 minutes meditation. If you can do 3 minutes, you can do 4, and if you can do 4, you can do 5. You can meditate on anything you like. Basically, you just focus on one focus. So it could be music, could be breath, it could be sound, whatever you feel that you want to focus on. You can even have an object in front of you. And as long as your concentration is focused on only that object for 3 to 5 minutes, you're practicing meditation. We're just calming the mind down, allowing the mind to be taught how to stay calm. So we're going to lay down on our mats now. I've just got you all sat up, but we're going to lay down on our mats. So we're going to start from the mats. Have the belts quite handy to your mat. And we're just going to have the feet flat, hands down by the side of the body. We're just going to really be aware of our spine settling into the mat. Going to draw the navel softly back towards the spine. You want to keep that focus in that abdominal area throughout your practice. It's not a pull back, it's just a soft draw back, so we can really connect with the abdomen. We're just going to open up the arms a little bit, so take the arms up over the shoulders, nice big stretch. And we're going to take quite a few repetitions, and I want you to stretch a little bit more each time. Exhale all the way back down again. If you're in a chair, if you're seated in a chair, you can just have the arms up and just really work with that position with a straight spine. And now we're just going to see if we can do it a little bit slower, just a little bit slower. Let's take our time to get back to the floor. If your hands don't reach the floor, arms may become a little bit wider, which will help you, or blocks can go underneath the hands. Let's really just slow it down. And then bring your attention to the abdomen, softly drawing that navel back. We're going to do 3 more. And it's almost like a moving meditation because we can actually really feel what's happening in the torso, in the armpits, in the arms. It's the last one. And then bring your hands down by the side of your body. Keep your left foot flat onto the mat and stretch your right leg up to the ceiling. Nice stretch of the right leg. Turn the toes to your nose and the heels to the ceiling. Tight hamstrings may indicate that you'll need to hold on to the back of that thigh. And you can have a pillow underneath your head if you don't like to lay flat. And just give those hamstrings a little stroke. So they insert in your buttocks, 3 of them, and they travel down the back of the thighs, just where they insert just below the knee. So just give them a little, with your fingertips, just give them a little welcome to the practice. And then bring your knee into your chest, give it a squeeze, and place that foot flat onto the mat. Exactly the same with the other leg. Knee into chest, stretch the leg up, toes to nose, heels to ceiling, hands behind the thighs if you want to, or hands down by the side of the body. Back of the knee is not locked out, it's just a tiny bit of softness there. And again, if you want to have a little stroke of those hamstrings with your fingertips, give yourself a little self-massage. That's always quite nice to do. And a couple more breaths. And then bring that foot down onto the mat. You take both knees into the chest and take both legs up to the ceiling. Toes to nose, heels to ceiling, and again, not pushing the knees back, straight legs, but with soft back of the knees. Some of you will hold on to the hamstrings and stay here. With the toes to the nose and the heels to the ceiling, we can really feel what's happening in the Achilles and the ankles. And some of you will take your arms up over your shoulders and have that lovely stretch of the shoulders and the hamstrings at the same time. Nice, easy breathing. And then bring the knees into the chest. We have that little roll around. We place the left foot flat onto the mat and we take the right leg up to the ceiling again. And this time we cross the right ankle over the left knee. We keep the foot flexed so we have the toes pointing to the ceiling. Some of you will stay right where you are. Some of you will have a pillow underneath your head. And some of you will take your right hand through the triangle you've created, left hand round the back of the thigh and lift that knee up. Into the hips now. I'm just going to stay here for a really good stretch. This particular stretch, if you have sciatica or piriformis, muscle ache, then this is a great posture for you. Feel the spine just settle onto the mat. And if you want to, you can take your hands in front of your kneecaps and take it a little bit deeper. Nice, easy breathing. Just having a nice, long, deep stretch. And then we'll release that left foot down and the right foot down, and we'll take the left leg up to the ceiling. We'll cross the ankle, we'll flex the foot to protect the knee. We'll take our options, either staying here or through the triangle, round the back of that thigh, lifting up that right leg. Stay for a nice long hold. So if the leg is lifted, you're going to feel this in the hamstrings and the hip of the left, hopefully. And if you want to go a little bit deeper in front of the kneecap, and we draw in a little bit deeper. Somebody needs to mute themselves. I think you've unmuted. So if your mute button is not red, please make sure it's red, not green. And then slowly release that right foot and the left foot and draw both knees into the chest, and we have that rock and roll. Going to bring ourselves now, feet flat onto the mat, going to roll over to the right and come into all fours. So the knees are under the hips, the hands are underneath the shoulders. And inhale the gaze up and the buttocks up. Nice back bend. On the exhale, round the back.
I can't get the sound though.
Gaze to the navel. I'm just going to try and mute everybody again. Malcolm will carry on with the.
She's just doing her class. I should leave because in case she can hear anything.
So you can hear Mum needs to be unmuted, needs to be muted. Nice, easy breathing. Let's do 3 more. I want you to really feel this spine now, really feel the articulation of the spine. And it feels so beautiful. We're going to do 2 more. And then this is the last one. A great morning stretch, that one. We're going to stay on our knees. So if you have issues with the knees, maybe have a blanket underneath the knees. I'm just going to bring the right elbow down and the left elbow down. But we're going to keep our buttocks quite high. So you'll notice that this is already a back bend. I'm going to take it into a shoulder stretch. So walk your hands further forward. You can have a block underneath your forehead if it feels appropriate. Or you can have your head on the floor. Just keep walking your arms forward with your buttocks high until you can feel the stretch in the armpits and the shoulders. Some of you may be super flexible, and perhaps you'll draw your heart down to the earth and you'll bring your chin to the mat. This is going to involve the neck quite a lot, so please be aware that it's deep, very, very deep. So your gaze at the fingers if your heart is on the mat and your chin is on the mat. And if you've taken that particular stretch, bring your forehead back to the mat, walk your hand a little bit back, and we'll join everybody in the original stretch. And then you're going to walk your hands all the way back. We're going to find ourselves in child posture. So nice long arms. Some of you may want to stay with the feet, toes together, open out, and settle with the heart going towards the mat in wisdom. Feels a bit too much compression on the belly. Open those knees and have wisdom posture instead. And whichever posture you're in, you're going to take your arms for a walk to the left, just walking to the left. And we'll feel that nice lateral stretch in the intercostals and the mid lower back. And then slowly back to that wisdom stretch or child stretch. And then we'll walk the opposite direction, get the lateral stretch again. And then come back to wisdom or child posture. It's a very slow, focused stretching practice today with classic hatha postures. And then walk the hands all the way back. We're going to bring the knees together if they're not together. We're going to go into classic child posture to enable us to go into downward facing dog. So stretch the arms as far forward as you can. Super glue the hands to the mat. Don't move the hands. Just come onto your knees. Tuck all toes and lift up into downward facing dog. So you may still have hamstring work to do, so bend your right leg, bend your left leg, and just walk your dog. Have a little walk with the dog. And then we're going to draw the heels down towards the mat. You're going to have your head hanging in between your upper arms. It's not pushing down towards the floor. It's just hanging in between the upper arms. You can continue to walk your dog. You don't have to be static. It feels better for you. And if you do have tight hamstrings, you may prefer to bend both knees, have the straight back, downward facing dog. And then as we approach the downward facing dog, we just aim to straighten the legs. So the back remains long and straight. And just take whichever posture feels good. Remember the abdominals, just softly draw them back. It's a long hold. If you want to come onto your knees, please certainly do so. This is a stretch for the whole of the back, the hamstrings, the spine, building strength into your arms. 2 more breaths. And then knees onto the mat. And let's take child posture. Now we're going to release those shoulders a little bit that have worked. We're going to take the hands behind us and drop them on the floor behind you or place them on your heels. Block can go underneath your forehead if needs be. We're going to just soften those shoulders that we've worked so hard. And then slowly we'll come back into all fours again. So again, cushions underneath those knees if they're vulnerable. And working to the abdominals. We're going to tuck your right toe, have a nice hamstring stretch. Hands are directly underneath your shoulders, your navel's drawing into your spine. And then tuck the left toe. And lift up with the right leg. So you don't want it too high because you'll take your back out of alignment. Better low than high. You're going to push away with that right heel. And if you want to, stretch away with your left hand. Right at the abdominals now. The gaze is at the mat, not at the camera. Nice, easy breathing. 2 more breaths. And then release. So we're just going to change sides and have a nice hamstring stretch of the left leg. Hands are still underneath the shoulders. I'm going to tuck that right toe. Lift up the left leg, push the heel away. Remember, if you take it too high, you take it back out of alignment. You use the strength of the legs and then take your right arm in front of you. Breathe. One more breath. And then release. And return to child posture or wisdom, whichever feels appropriate to you today. You can even have your hands underneath your forehead and have a little break. We're going to continue on our abdominal workout. Laying on your tummies now. We're coming into Sphinx. So, shoulders over elbows. We have a nice back bend going on here. Nice easy breathing. We're going to tuck the toes and lift up the knees and push the heels back. We're in plank. Too intense, knees down, just cross ankles. Gaze at the mat. Exhale, release down. Untuck toes. Rise up with the chest. Back bend. Sphinx. I'm going to do that twice more. Remember, the knees can stay on the mat. You can pop them back down again. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips. Push back. So use the strength of the legs to keep you in the plank. 2 more breaths. Navel to spine. Exhale, release. Untuck the toes, rise up through the Sphinx. We have one more. Tuck the toes, lift, push back with the heels. It really does help. Squeeze the buttocks, firm the thighs. One more breath. And release. Bring your hands underneath the forehead and settle. With the breath maybe a bit ragged. So you can either stay here if it's feeling a little bit too much of a class, or I'm going to show you the next movement, which will take it into our shoulders. So come into Sphinx first of all, so I can give you a demo. And then I'm going to take my arms long. Stay in Sphinx so you can see what I'm going to be doing. So lift up the chest, lift up the arms, and exhale, draw the elbows back. Inhale forward and exhale, release down. Okay, coming out of Sphinx. Feet stay on the mat. Inhale is the lift. Exhale, draw back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Feel what's happening in the shoulders and the back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, draw back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Bring your hands underneath the forehead, soften. Turn your head to the right. Turn your head to the left. Inhale back to the center, hands underneath the shoulders, elbows draw in, rising up through the Cobra. Feel the stretch in the belly, onto the knees, and then we're coming up into a comfortable seated position. So have that nice straight spine that we had with our meditation. Nice easy breathing. And we're just going to work into the shoulders again. So it's lots of shoulders and hips today. So interlock your fingers and turn the palms away. Inhale the arms all the way up. And exhale down. Now don't be too concerned if your arms don't go all the way up. Just take them as far as they need to go. You do not want to experience pain. You want to experience a beautiful flowing movement. And in this particular practice, you can really bring your attention to the abdomen, just softly drawing it in. I'm going to do 3 more. We're really working into these shoulders today. And this is the last one. Inhale up and exhale down. So because we've been having a nice energetic practice to begin, we're just going to slow it down in the middle portion now. We're going to work into the neck. So take an inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to gaze to the left. So you want to have your chin approaching the left shoulder, so you get that stretch in the neck. And then come back to the center, take an inhale, and exhale to the right. Notice that Malcolm has his legs straight because he's happy with straight legs and crossed legs. And then come back to the center. You're going to take an inhale, lift the gaze up. Really have a nice extension. Feel the stretch in the front of the neck. Take an inhale and exhale back to neutral. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, take your bow. And now really be aware of the neck, the upper back, right down into the trapezes and the rhomboids, feeling this stretch. And then inhale back to the center. We're going to have a little tiny bit of a facelift. So we're going to take the head back, and then we're going to take this bottom lip right over the top lip. So take an inhale, exhale, inhale, lift, and now take that bottom lip right over the top lip. And feel that facelift in the jaw. And then release back to neutral. And if you want, you can do it one more time. So inhale, lift up. Exhale, let's take the bottom lip over the top lip. And then inhale back to the center and exhale here. So good work. We're going to now come into some standing postures, but we're going to come through downward facing dog plank sequence. If you just want to stand up, that's absolutely fine. If you want to come with me, we're coming back into child posture. Super long arms. So the longer your arms are, you'll transition more easily into your plank. So super long arms onto your knees. Tuck your toes. You shouldn't need to move your hands. So let's go back to child. Super long arms. Anchor the hands to the mat. Do not move the hands. Just come onto your knees. Tuck your toes. Lift your knees and exhale. Takes you back to down dog. And again, you may want to move around in your dog. Perfectly acceptable. You may want to stay straight in your dog. Whatever feels good to you is what you should be doing. So without moving the hands or the feet, we can transition into plank. So we're coming over the shoulders, over the wrist. And as we did in the forearm plank, we're going to push those heels away, squeeze the buttocks, make the legs do some of the work in your plank so you're not sinking. Exhale takes you back to dog. Without moving the hands or feet, transition into plank. Push the heels away. We'll let those legs work. Squeeze the buttocks, navel to spine. Exhale back to dog. Let's do 2 more if you want to. Remember, the knees can come onto the mat as well, and you can lift up your ankles, half plank. Exhale back to your dog. Last one, inhale into your planks. Push the heels away, squeeze the buttocks. Exhale back to dog. And let's take that gentle walk forward to join those who may have stayed at the front of the mat. Bend your knees to rise. Inhale lifts you up. And exhale by the side of the body. So now my breath is a bit ragged. I'm going to stay in Tadasana for a little while. My feet are underneath my hips, my shoulders soften. And I bring my attention back to the breath again. Yoga is all about the breath. Once the breath starts to be ragged, it turns into an exercise class. So the breath, the mind, and the body connect. So bring the feet together and take the arms all the way up. Nice big stretch. Then come onto your tippy toes. And have a balancing stretch. And then exhale, release down. Arms down by the side of the body. Inhale is the lift, balance. Exhale is the release. Inhale, lift, squeeze the buttocks. Pull the heels together. Exhale, release. We're doing 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Keeping the feet together, interlock the fingers. 2 fingers face the ceiling, thumbs wrap over each other. Half moon posture. We don't want to twist, we want a side bend. Take an inhale and exhale to the left. Stretch the arms, so you're going to get right into this lateral side of the body. Inhale back to the center and exhale over. And again, straight arms, stretching. Inhale back to the center. Exhale over. Perhaps take the top wrist to draw the stretch a little bit more. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, top wrist. Maybe draw in that stretch a little bit more. Inhale back to the center. Exhale the hands down. Separate your feet, they're underneath your hips. We're taking this stretch down, lower into the hips as well. So the right arm rises. And we exhale over. So remember, you don't want to twist. Doesn't matter how low you are, but you want to have this side stretch. And then inhale, windmill the arms. And stretch the other way. Legs are firm. Inhale, lift. And exhale, stretch. Inhale, lift. And exhale, stretch. And then inhale back to the center. So going to come into dance of Shiva with a balancing posture. You're going to lift up the right knee. Standing leg is strong but not locked. You can take the right hand on top of the right knee, and then we're going to turn that foot inwards a little bit. So we're going to have a hip, external hip rotation. And then we're going to bring that other hand up, and we have the dance of Shiva. It's quite strong on the standing leg. This posture means no fear. Couple more breaths. And then we release. A lot of concentration going on here. And then the opposite leg comes up and we turn the heel in. And the left hand on top, not touching. And the other hand comes up, no fear. Nice easy breathing. Couple more breaths. And then release. How about we do that one more time? So right up, take the heel in, hand over, and up we come. No fear. So often on the second round, feel a lot more comfortable. And then we release, and the opposite leg comes up. Nice easy breathing. Very calming posture. No fear. And then we release. Good work, guys. So we're back into the hamstrings. We use bricks. If you haven't got bricks, a couple of books will do. The bricks are going to be at the front of your mat. And have them high to begin with. Take your right foot in between the bricks and turn the left foot out a little bit to the side, and then swing the hips forward. So the hips are facing forward, the hamstrings are going to be taking a nice stretch in this posture. Going to inhale, lift up, and exhale, lengthen through the spine. So straight spine to begin with. Try not to lock out that front knee. It tends to push back. Keep a softness there. Bring your hands to the bricks. Nice, easy breathing. If you haven't got bricks or blocks, you can always do this on the wall. We're going to just think about the kneecaps. We want to lift up the kneecaps so we can really engage the opposing muscle group. Keep softness in the back of the knees, just a tiny softness to stop hyperextension. Some of you will stay right where you are. And some of you may lower your bricks. Take yourself a little bit deeper into a forward flexion. Stay high if you've got back issues or sciatica. Forward bends are not really happy for you. And we lift up the kneecaps and we maybe lower the bricks again, or maybe we take our hands to the earth. We breathe. Then a subtle bend of the knee. Maybe use your bricks to help you rise up. Rising up nice and slowly. And then we rise all the way up. And change legs. Reassemble your bricks. So bricks, a lot of people don't like to use props in yoga, but they're really so beneficial to you. They're not very expensive. You can purchase them on Amazon, I'm sure. And they're very helpful to your practice. Going to inhale, lift up. I'm going to exhale, lengthen. So we don't want to round the back. I'm going to keep the back straight and find your bricks. And some of you will stay here with straight back, just gazing at the floor. Or you'll have your hands on the wall. Nice, easy breathing. You're going to lift up the kneecaps. And then maybe lower the bricks, take yourself a little bit deeper. Don't play around with the hamstrings. You don't want to have any pulling. You want to have a feel nice stretch, but no pulling or tingling. Take it at your level. Each day they open up very, very softly and slowly. And then if it feels appropriate, hands on the mat, go a little bit deeper, stay high if you've got back issues. And just a couple more breaths. And then either using your bricks to assist you to rise up, or your fingers, take it slow, and then slowly we come back to the front of our mats. So the next posture will be downward facing dog, and then we're going to come back down onto the floor for some more floor movements. So if you want to just lay down on your mat with your hands underneath your forehead, we'll join you there. If you're coming with me, going to inhale the arms all the way up. Bend the knees, swan dive. Right leg travels back, left leg travels back. We're in downward facing dog. So feel free to stay in downward facing dog. Nose lay on your tummy and have your hands underneath your forehead. For those who want a little bit more of a workout, we take the plank again, push the heels away. Back to the downward facing dog. Inhale into the plank, push the heels away as soon as you arrive. Back to the downward facing dog. And then one more. And back to downward facing dog. We too lay on our tummies, soften, realign. Hands underneath the shoulders. We're rising up through the Cobra. And we're going to have a seated position. So now straight back, find your belts. Toes up to the ceiling, shoulders back and down. Tadasana. Hands can be by the side of the hips, which means that the spine is straight. If the spine is not straight, just fingertips point backwards and take the hands back. So your spine will now be straight. We're going to carry on with some more forward bends. We're going to take the left foot, draw it in, have a brick or a cushion, draw the heel in, and then just drop that knee open. Now you can have a brick here. If it's a bit feeling tight in that knee joint area, you can put a little handkerchief or a sock in there, and that will release that tension a little bit. If all else fails and you can't do this at all, you take the leg out and you completely forget about it. So props available, towards tie or a belt. And we're going to have it round the front foot. So you know you can grab hold of it. Now I'm just going to take it away. I'm going to take the arms up. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to keep looking forward, so we're going to stretch that back. External rotation of this hip and hamstring stretch of the right leg. Inhale is the lift. Exhale, straight back, looking forward. Do not bow your head, otherwise this will go into the lower back. You don't want that to happen. Inhale, lift up. And exhale one more time. And then inhale, lift up again. I want you to imagine now that you're going to really touch the ceiling. So we lift even higher. We get real height here. And this will take us further forward. Take an inhale with that height. Exhale, grab hold of your belt. Doesn't matter whether your belt's up here or you're here. The back is straight. The back remains straight throughout the whole posture. Some of you may be on your toes, on your feet. We use our breath again. We inhale, lengthen. Remember that length. And on the exhale, we try to bring the chest down to the thighs while we're looking forward. So you're going to feel a real stretch in the hamstrings. You can bend that front knee if it's a little bit too intense. Use the breath again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, chest draws down towards the thigh. And the gaze stays pointed forward so we don't go into that lower back. One more breath. And then bring the hands to the earth. We rise up. We just simply change sides. So remember, you have your options and your props, or you can take the leg out completely and forget about it. We get the belt and we wrap it around that ball of that foot. You know it's there for us to grab hold of. And then we inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, back straight. Inhale is the lift. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lengthen. And then this is the last one. So we're going to inhale, lift. We're going to go as high as we possibly can. Really high. Exhale, lengthen, straight back. Have hold of the belt or your foot if you're there. Keep your back straight. Take an inhale, exhale, chest to thigh. Nice, easy breathing. Inhaling, exhaling, chest to thigh. One more inhale. Exhale, chest to thigh. Remember, you can bend that straight leg if it's shouting at you. And then slowly we'll rise, nice and slowly. Bring the knee back, both legs. We're going to take the belt around both feet. Spine is straight. Back to Tadasana. And we're going to do exactly the same. Now you may have to bend your knees. That's very appropriate if you do need to bend your knees, especially if you have tight hamstrings. Going to inhale, lift up. Paschimottanasana. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale is the lift. Exhale is the length. Gaze is forward. Inhale is the lift. Take an exhale. Inhale, lift even higher. The higher you go, the more forward bend you're going to do. Take an inhale. Exhale, lengthen. Keep your gaze forward. Do not bow your head. Your spine is straight. You can bend your knees. We're drawing the chest down towards the thighs. Your eye on the belt. Maybe even here. That's absolutely fine. Your back is straight. You're working into your hamstrings. Nice, easy breathing. Take a long, deep inhale. And exhale. And then slowly bring the hands to the mat and rise all the way up. And we release the belt. We're going to lay on our side. And I'm just going to bring my heel in to my buttocks. I'm going to have a nice stretch of those quadriceps. Use your belt around the heel if it doesn't work for you like that. Just so we can get into these quadriceps. And then just roll over and change sides. Coming up onto your elbow. And again, just, you can always use the belt around the ball of the foot and drag it in with the belt. Just have a nice stretch. We've worked those hamstrings quite a lot, so the opposing muscle group. We're just having a little stretch. And then we're going to lay on our backs, coming to the end of our practice. Feet flat onto the mat. And where we began, we will finish. So let's just take a little tiny back bend just to realign. So heels are in line with buttocks. Knees stay in line with hips. And just lift up the lower back, the hips. Pubic bone to the ceiling, just gentle little tiny back bends now, nothing too intense. Exhale, release down. The pubic bone to the ceiling, squeeze the buttocks and lift up. And release. And then the last one, squeezing the buttocks, pubic bone to the ceiling, really easing out of that back now. Release down. And then the right leg straight up to the ceiling. Ankle over left knee. Lift up left leg or leave that left foot down. Draw in. Should feel a lot easier now than it did at the beginning of your practice. Should feel a little bit more comfortable. Let the back just settle down. And then release that left foot down and the right foot. Stretch the left leg up. Ankle over. Often you want to just stay here, that's fine. Or through the triangle, lift up the right leg, draw in. And I'm going to finish on a very gentle twist. So this time I'm going to keep the feet flat onto the mat. I'm going to open the arms nice and wide. I'm just going to drop the knees to the right. And take the gaze to the left. It's always quite nice to finish on a twist just to restore equilibrium. And then feet flat, we're going to bring the knees into the chest, have that roll around. And again, feet flat onto the mat to make it a more gentle twist. Drop the knees to the left and take the gaze to the right. And then slowly back to the center. Let's bring the knees into the chest. Do anything that feels really organic for you, just rolling around on those lower backs. There are many reports coming out now about stretching and walking being the most beneficial practices for you. So we're all doing a lot of walking, I'm sure. We're going to all do a lot of stretching too. So I'm going to bring the feet flat to the mat. They'll remain there if it feels more comfortable for you, or your legs will be long in Shavasana. Turn your palms up to the ceiling, soften the shoulders. And now we just want to relax the body just for a couple of minutes, just to bring some harmony back to the body. Let's relax all the joints. All the muscles, the bones, the deepest tissues, cells of the body, all moving into a soft space of relaxation. We again bring our awareness back to that breath. And for the next minute, just have that meditation again on your breath. Your inhales and your exhales. You've come to the end of your practice. Hopefully you feel nice and energized, stretched and calm. Bring your feet flat to the mat. We're going to roll ourselves all the way over. And come up into any comfortable seated position. Straight back. Bring your hands in front of your heart.